If you're fed up of the global drama, you're becoming disinterested in everything around you, you're seeing through the veil of all that's been fed to us through media and alternative media and social media, constantly being inundated with all this complete and utter bullshit that you know is just not the true calling of humanity, the true alignment of your intuitive and greater higher selves, this video is for you. I had the absolute blessing of running into a friend last night who is a touring musician and really got some insights on what's going on in at least the Western Hemisphere over here about what the actual awakening stage is like on the collective scale. You know, the term for apocalypse actually means unveiling, and we're seeing that on a greater level. And I know that a bunch of you who are watching this video right now understand that this is happening. People are switching on, and you know, definitely within that becoming a little bit detached, feeling lonely and isolated within it. But this video is here to let you know that there are many of us switching on to it. And if you wait till the end of this video, I'm going to tell you 3 things that are very important and I consider vital to remembering throughout this time. So without further ado, let's just get into it real quick. This is going to be a short little video. I just want to share really fast that my name is Drew McClellan. If you found your way to this channel, thank you for being here. I've worked in music in my past. I've worked in the service industries. I have a lot of stories to share around what it's like in the entertainment business or just the entertainment culture, and also the social interaction culture that is so tumultuous with something like the service industry, working behind bars and customer service. Currently, I'm working on helping people develop their personal brands forward and help become the leaders of their own lives. This friend that I was talking to last night shared with me a very important story, and I think this speaks so many lengths because of the preconceived notion that a lot of us have about places that we are not. And this is something that is derived from the digital world that we experience life through so often. We generate these opinions about places that we have never been, and we take them as truth. My friend was telling me about how they recently went down through Mississippi and played a show down in Jackson, I believe. And there had been, you know, if you're from Jackson, Mississippi, you're probably aware of this, but there are still very deep-seated racial conflicts going on there, and it's sort of right on the surface. And he was talking about how the most recent mayor is a black guy, and he's been defeated for like the past 4 terms or something like that by a white guy. There's still very heavy racial tension down to the point of operating businesses on certain blocks. You know, some of the norm is that white black owners can't own or even rent properties in certain places. It comes down to like real estate is controlled in a very prejudiced and apartheid type of way. And he said that he went through and he wanted to talk to the kids at the shows because, you know, they play music, everyone comes together for that, and he wanted to inquire to the younger generations about what's going on. And to me, I'm a millennial, but even younger generations under me, I feel like we all feel the same way in this, and this sort of affirmed that belief that I have that, you know, we're all just kind of waiting for this old guard to die, and that's what he was saying with the young generation down there in Mississippi. That was the common understanding, that these politicians, these people in power, are 100% just blinded by this old hate war and this, you know, thinking that, you know, the left and right or the black and white is forever present. The younger generation, the people like you are and I are waking up to this right now, and we know that it's all fucking bullshit. It was nice to hear in such a physical context, such a, something, this is the type of shit that does not make the mainstream news. It doesn't even really make the alternative news, because that's been so captured by our the algorithm feeds us emotionally triggering shit. It doesn't really feed us what real people are thinking. And maybe I'm wrong about this. Obviously, I'm out here on the algorithm sharing what I'm thinking, so there's obviously a double entendre there. But anyways, my point is the fact that so many of us are waking up to the psychological capture and the spiritual capture that we've been raised in, and we're saying no more to that. Throughout this times of that type of awakening, there is a rational experience of not being able to associate with the immediate people around you. You don't know where your people are yet, and that's also part of the reason why I make these videos, to let you know that there are other people out there going through this awakening on multiple levels. So, overall, when we are facing this death to the old way, this unveiling, this apocalypse that everyone, people freak about the apocalypse, but it's really just peeling back the veil. Here's a few things that I always remember, and I'm just going to rail them off. One is transformation looks like cataclysm. Transformation looking like cataclysm it's just natural. Things are dying. There is a death to an old way. If you don't see the transformative opportunity in that, it will look like doom. So just remember that you are a player in this narrative, and you are the true manifestation of what the potential is. Another thing is that, during all of this sort of feeds back into that transformation looks like cataclysm, but it's just to follow those new interests. If you're not around your people, if you're waking up and you're not around the people that you think you should be around, you're not around the people that you can be comfortable with, follow those new interests into helping break the patterns that kept you around the negative energy or just the unaligning communities of your past. Follow those new interests into new habits that generate openness to those communities that you are yet to seek, because I guarantee you they're out there, and we're all out there doing the same thing. It all starts with a choice. Lastly, something I always remind myself, because of being inundated with so much of this hysteria and this bullshit, I work in social media and content creation. It's a natural part of my life, but it is very tumultuous territory to walk through every day, because you can easily get triggered into anything. Something to remember is to observe, don't absorb. And with that, it's a continuous effort to rein that in and really understand that, we are kind of in this big show. We're kind of in the greatest movie of all time, and reality is becoming less of what we thought it was in the past decades, and so much more of this potential for all types of manifest and all types of creation in our futures. And I know that if you're feeling this way, like I'm feeling this way, you are part of a mass awakening on greater than the psychological level, and I would even say greater than the spiritual level, because we have this sort of like triune thing going on. It really is this sort of body, mind, soul awakening all together. And people who are maybe just too wrapped up in the existential part of it, or maybe too just wrapped up in the physics of it, or maybe too wrapped up in the politics of it, whatever. Those of you who I'm speaking to, we're definitely recognizing that it's happening on all these levels, and we're formulating a true becoming.